to the UN Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights. And unfortunately, the first action plan that we had, 2017 to 20, is now out of date in its 5th year. So I'm asking specifically in relation to the stakeholder forum that was set up. I know how often it met. When will we have the plan? Because it's to follow on the guiding principles that were accepted by the UN in 2011. And now more than ever in today's world, we need to embed human rights.
Margaret.
Thank you, Catherine, and I thank Deputy Connolly for her question. The Department of Foreign Affairs and my department established a dedicated business and human rights stakeholder forum with the participation of individuals with relevant expertise and responsibilities from key organisations across business, civil society, trade unions and academia to assist with the development of a second national action plan on business and human rights. The Stakeholder Forum has met on 2 occasions so far. The first meeting took place on the 14th of December 2023. Following this meeting, the 2 departments presented a set of draft action points forming the basis of the new national plan that year. Stakeholders also and members provided written feedback to be considered on the 6th of June. This feedback continues to be reviewed across all relevant government departments to ensure the actions are deliverable during the lifetime of this plan. Officials from my department met with yourself, Deputy Connolly, I understand, last July to discuss the plan and to create a channel of communication of any inputs. As many of the suggested actions relate to the work of other government departments, it is important their feedback is received to understand their respective positions and to put a set of actions that are feasible, actionable and specific in place. Officials from my department and the Department of Foreign Affairs continue to liaise with relevant officials right across government. It is taking time to work through the suggested updated actions with these officials, as some of the updates are technical in nature. The work is ongoing and we're nearing completion. While it is taking a bit longer than would be expected to complete this work, I do think it is important that time has been taken to ensure we can present an ambitious plan with clear, deliverable actions. The updated actions will be presented to the 3rd Stakeholder Forum, which is expected to take place in the coming months. The finalised plan will cover multi-annual timeframe and will reflect new developments in the international understanding of business and human rights, including new EU instruments. It will have a key performance indicators attached to it, which will have assigned responsibilities and timelines to adhere to. And I expect to bring this human rights right to the forefront in the minds of Irish businesses so they can demonstrate their conscientiousness performance as required by
Margaret.
Thank you, Minister. I appreciate that the department met me, and in fact it was a very helpful meeting and it's a way to work. However, there is no progress in relation to the plan and we're into our 5th year. And when the Trinity College did a report, a snapshot of large firms operating in Ireland, the embedding of human rights principles was the lowest score. So embedding respect for human rights and conducting human rights due diligence, this was the theme on which companies on average scored the lowest. So while some of the actions your report have been implemented from the last plan, there were no specific goals that were delivered. There is an urgent need to publish this report based on human rights. We know that, and I'm not sure I know your department, and from meeting them, are absolutely doing their best, and they were certainly committed to bringing this plan forward. But where is the delay? You're talking about a meeting of the stakeholders in a few months' time, and yet you're talking about a plan that will be published soon. Can you clarify that for me?
Thank you, Catherine, and I thank Deputy Connolly for her intervention. Firstly, I would say a lot of the new EU instruments that are coming into context, this plan will have to respond to, are very technical in nature that we're trying to work and bring into the action plan. I'd also point out that there's a significant amount of the actions contained in this plan that are under the purview of other departments, and we're obviously trying to work and liaise with them to ensure that we have key deliverable actions agreed right across government. And we are taking this very serious. We do know our obligations in terms of the UN and to ensure that we have the highest level of standards and human rights right at the heart of businesses. So I can assure the Deputy we are taking it very seriously. I had a very significant discussion with officials yesterday on foot of you tabling this question this morning, and I will ensure that the action plan is published as quickly as possible and that there are key performance indicators attached to it, that there are deliverables and that it is monitored. I think we need to get it right to ensure that we can deliver it in a timely manner.
Octa.
Thank you, Minister. I would really love if you could give me a date on that. Why? Because we're talking about embedding respect for human rights, protecting, respecting and remedying human rights. And while we fail to do that, this is the report from Trinity College, which is now dated in relation to failure to embed human rights. And then if I look at various examples, as I understand it, the ESB is still importing coal from North East Colombia. I won't insult them by a pronunciation of the mines, despite well-documented human rights abuses associated with the actions of that business. We're important that Airbnb Ireland allows tourism-related businesses based in Israel settlements that are illegal to use its platform to advertise their services. And Frontline Defenders reported for a very, very respectable organisation 401 killings of human rights defenders in 2022 compared with 358 in 21. Imagine we're comparing the deaths of human rights defenders and taking comfort or not comfort while there's no plan of action. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, thank Deputy Connolly. I would point out that it is this government that brought forward this idea in the programme for government to deliver it, because we do take our human rights obligations very seriously. And you can see that from all our actions in the multilateral fora, particularly in relation to the UN, which I've met Volker Turk, the head of the UN Human Rights, on many occasions in my last brief, which we take very seriously our obligations. I would point out that in terms of the report, some of the areas are very technical in nature because there are new EU instruments that have come on board that we have to respond to. And secondly, it's always very dangerous for a politician to come in and give a date when some of the actions are not under the purview of my department, which I cannot force other departments to immediately respond to. So I will endeavour to come back to you with a timeline as soon as I can get a clear line of sight across government when we can deliver it. But I don't want to come with a plan that I can't deliver or that has not actionable points or delivery dates on. I think that's the most important point that I want to have as a stamp of my ministry.